Hey yo, you know, confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build by keeping promises to yourself. Who do you trust the most? I think about it. Is it a family member, maybe a close friend, partner, someone like that? Now, let me ask you something much harder. Do you trust yourself? Because every time you say, you know, I'll start tomorrow, I'll go to the gym, I'll stop eating rubbish, I'll get an early night, and you don't, you're teaching yourself something there. You're teaching yourself that your word doesn't count. I'm teaching myself my word doesn't count. And that should concern us. Because if we can't trust ourselves, how do we expect other people to? That's tricky, isn't it? How can we trust if we can't trust our own word, how are those people around us, who see that too sometimes, gonna know that we're gonna do what we said we're gonna do? One of my biggest lessons I've learned wasn't in the boxing gym. It wasn't while I was coaching. It wasn't even while working with some of the young people. It came from looking honestly at myself. There was a time when I'd make promises, to myself all the time. I'm gonna lose some weight. I'm gonna go training. I'll start Monday. I'm gonna be more organised. You know, some of those promises lasted for hours. Some lasted days even. Very few though lasted. Then I realised something. I would never treat another person the way I was treating myself. If I kept letting a friend down, eventually they'd stop believing in me. So why was I so surprised that I'd stopped believing in myself? That was difficult. That's what changed everything. I stopped chasing motivation at that point. I stopped making huge promises to myself, and you know that big surge of motivation during that time. Instead, I started making small promises and keeping every single one. And that's where the confidence began, because I knew I could do it. I knew I could get closer, and if sometimes I let myself down a little bit, I could get back on. I didn't have to just chuck it out the window. Here's the uncomfortable truth, though. Most people don't have a confidence problem. They have a credibility problem with themselves. And confidence isn't built by saying, I can do this. Confidence is built by proving it. You know, one kept promise after another, and another, and another, little brick by brick, and eventually you've got yourself a house of trust, a house of confidence, a sturdy foundation. You know, the research suggests that the idea of self-efficacy, and that's the belief that you can successfully complete a task. One of the strongest ways to build that belief is through mastery experiences. So basically, in simple terms, like every time you successfully follow through something that you committed to, your confidence grows because you've provided for yourself. You provided yourself the evidence that you can do hard things and you can achieve it, even though it might have seemed impossible or too difficult. So confidence isn't magic, and it's not just for the extroverted people out there. It's for everybody. But what it is, it's evidence. Yeah, you look back at the goals and promises that you made to yourself, and you think, oh yeah, I did that. And you can prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving great things. Little piece by piece, though. Those little things aren't great, are they? those little pieces, those little pebbles, they don't look like much, do they? But you stack a bunch of them, yeah, and all of a sudden, you've got yourself a little mountain. Nobody walks into a boxing gym believing they're ready for 12 rounds. Many people aren't. Confidence doesn't arrive before the training, it arrives because of the training. After your first session, a little more. After 10 sessions, you're moving around a little better. You start to feel a bit more confident. After 100 sessions, you don't have to pretend anymore. You've earned some confidence, and life works exactly the same. You don't think your way into confidence. You just behave your way into it. Routines and patterns makes a difference. You gotta live that life. You gotta live that life with someone who's confident. You gotta be able to see, believe it, and also have evidence to back it up. This is the savage way. The world's gonna tell us, confidence comes first. The savage way suggests integrity comes first, keeping your word, finishing what you started, and arrive when you said you would. Apologise when you're wrong. Be a man about it. If you've done something wrong or you've let somebody down, be the person to go to that person and say, look, I'm sorry I didn't do this. And don't make up some rubbish excuse about cat died or whatever. Just be honest and truthful about it, and then you'll get over it. Might be difficult, painful to deal with, but you've done it. You also got to maybe do that with yourself sometimes. You let yourself down. Maybe look in the mirror and apologise to yourself. Not because someone else is watching, but because you're watching. Your soul is watching. Yeah, it's recording everything that you do. Every kept promise lays another brick in that foundation of your character, and you're the one who's going to sit with that. We have all broken promises. We've all disappointed ourselves. We've all looked in the mirror and thought, why can't I just stick it out? Why can't I just keep going with it? Why can't I just keep that routine with it? This movement isn't built on guilt. The savage movement isn't built on making you feel guilty. It's built on second chances. Today, we start rebuilding our trust with ourselves. One promise at a time, one action at a time, one brick at a time. Here's today's mission, should you wish to participate. Make yourself one promise today. Keep it deliberately small. Not because you're lowering your standard, because you're rebuilding trust. Then do it tomorrow. Do it again. And remember, we're not chasing perfection. We're rebuilding credibility. So maybe a reflection question for you as well. Start asking yourself this. When was the last time you genuinely surprised yourself by following through on something you once thought you couldn't? Can you think of anything? If you have, ask yourself, what did it teach you? So, remember, confidence isn't built by believing in yourself. It's built by proving to yourself that your word means something. Every promise you keep becomes another brick in the foundation of who you are. So you're building that bit at a time. Every promise that you keep, yeah. I hope you found something in there. I hope it's going to help you. If this rang out to you, like and share it. Someone else might need this lesson. I know I do. Until next time, stay savage. Let's go.